What is up, my brothers and sisters, my agents of respect? It's your boy TreJuanJohnson back with another episode of the No Disrespect But podcast. Before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Always feel free to comment. Just please make sure you keep those comments respectful. Um, and and look, if you're interested in supporting your favorite podcast, yours truly, Cash App will be in the episode description. So consider doing that if you are a fan of the show. But man, look, today I'm gonna try to keep it short and sweet because I really only want to cover one topic and one topic only. And that's simply just this, y'all. How can we make NBA summer great once again? I mean, apparently you can't say the whole make something great again with the whole, President Trump campaigns, but it's really just a figure of speech because the NBA free agency that I grew up on, right? You had star players trying to figure out where they wanted to go. I remember Tim Duncan taking visits and apparently almost going to Orlando once upon a time. I remember Carmelo, even though he got traded, but there was talks about what he was going to do. I remember LeBron's free agency and I mean, pretty much all his free agencies where if he was leaving Cleveland and he ended up going to Miami, but I remember he met with the Knicks. Remember he met with Chicago. A lot of people thought he might be going to Chicago at that point in time, but or staying in Cleveland, but he decided to go to Miami. Then when we knew he wanted to leave Miami, it was where is he going? Hey, he's going back home to Cleveland. Hey, he's opting out. He's not going to sign back with Cleveland on the second go around. Where is he going? He's taking visits. He even took a visit with the Spurs at one point, but he ultimately decided to go to the Los Angeles Lakers. And that was great, right? Like that was exciting. Remember Kevin Durant's free agency? That was exciting. Where is KD going to go? Is he staying with OKC? Is he going to the Spurs? Is he going to Washington? Oh shit, he's going to Golden State to pair up with the 73-9 Golden State Warriors, who were pretty much a game away from winning another title. Like stuff like that. Like there was a level of excitement that went on throughout the summer, especially when you had a star player up. Um, Kawhi was another guy. You know, um, we knew he was leaving Toronto, met with the Lakers, met with the Clippers, and he decided on the Clippers. Paul George met with a few teams, decided to sign back at OKC, but ultimately got traded to the Los Angeles Clippers. I just felt like that was another notch that the NBA took it from a sports entertainment standpoint. You know, the regular season was already starting to wind down. It's an 82 game season. It's kind of hard to keep fan attention for that long. But of course, we had exciting playoff runs, playoff matchups, exciting runs by the eventual champion. You had the excitement of the draft because the draft comes before free agency, right? And then you had, oh crap, where are the stars going? And sometimes you had maybe five or six superstars that were free agents at the same time, especially in the era where they could take a team up together, right? But then you had some where it was like maybe one or two guys. I kind of think about LaMarcus Aldridge's free agency run, and he was a star. I wouldn't call him a superstar. He was a star. Did really well at Portland, and people were trying to figure out where he was going to go. I remember he met with the Lakers. I do remember that. I know he met with the Spurs. I can't remember. I think he met with the Mavericks, and he ultimately decided to sign with the San Antonio Spurs. So, um, stars, the superstars, you at least had about two to three that you could really build a narrative around. You can build some buzz around. It was everything that we were talking about in terms of, okay, what's going to set the stage for the next season? Because we got the drafts, we got the top picks, but we know, after maybe the top 5 or 6 picks in the NBA draft, everybody else is for the most part, okay, let's see how they develop type of deal. And you get excited about the summer league, who's going to make your squad, guys who didn't get drafted, things like that, or maybe guys who are in their going into their second year, wanting to see how they've improved, things of that nature. But free agency was the star of the NBA summer show, and unfortunately, I think maybe I'd say definitely post COVID, right? I would say definitely post COVID. It just hasn't been that anymore, right? It's the stars, they're usually opting into their contracts, or if they opt out, they're immediately re-signing with the team that they're currently on. And it's more of a, hey, I'm gonna sign with this team, even though I may not know how this is gonna go. I'm gonna sign with them, see how it goes, maybe the first year or two, and I'll just demand a trade. I'll force myself out. I'll go where I want to go. And you saw Bradley Beal do that with Washington. You saw James Harden do that with he did it in Houston, and he did it with the Nets. And he did it with Philly. Like, I mean, just kind of seeing a superstar position where they're going to go, hold the current team hostage in terms of, hey, I'm not going to sign long term at this other place, so therefore they won't have to give up a crazy amount of assets for me. Um, and you're almost kind of seeing the same thing about the narrative around Giannis. Like, is he going to get traded? Just the narrative has transitioned from a player, especially a superstar, truly being a free agent, unrestricted free agent at that, and having an opportunity to just explore their options and then make the decision that's best for their career, best for their personal lives, best for their family, all these things that they have to consider when making such a huge decision. Um, we just don't have that anymore. Like, remember the pageantry that went on during NBA free agency where you were hearing about, okay, this team flew out, these star players on their team. They flew out these Hall of Famers that represent their team. They flew out all of the brass. Um, they had a 4-hour presentation, and in their presentation, that included, how they were going to utilize this player and things like that. You knew about what restaurants they took them to, what a little bit about the conversations they were having, a little bit about the offers. If you could get that information, you could learn about, okay, this is what they left with. Um, if the player left the building, you got a little bit of information as to, okay, like they're leaving Washington. They're leaving Washington because they have a flight to California, and in California they're going to meet with the Lakers this day. They're going to meet with the Clippers this day. They're going to meet with the Kings this day. And then throughout the process, you'd see, okay, they left Washington, they went to LA, they met with the Lakers, but that visit to the Clippers and the Kings got canceled. And then your mindset is, oh shit, the Lakers are about to sign him, or what, or what's going on? And then it's, oh well, they're going back home. So let's say this player played I could do it to you, Orlando. But let's say they play for Orlando. The player plays for Orlando. They fly back home to Orlando. They're kicking it with their family. And then you hear that the Washington Brass sent the owner and the general manager and all that crazy stuff down to Orlando to seal the deal. And the next thing you know, this player signed to go to Washington. I'm just using an example, but those are just some of the crazy stories that used to come out of free agency. And those superstars, what was funny was the first few days, maybe the first week or so of free agency was slow in a way because the NBA world was on pause. They were waiting to see where are these star guys going. These role players are trying to figure out, okay, where are the star guys going? Because I may take a little less to go play with a star player or a superstar caliber player and maybe have a better chance at a ring, as opposed to maybe taking a bigger deal where I am or somewhere else that's offering, but it's not really a good situation contingent on winning and even bettering my career to where I can even make more money, or make more money in the future. That's what it used to be. Now free agency is it's for the role players. Like it is for the role players. There hasn't been a superstar on the free agent market maybe since KD and Kawhi summer. But when you knew, and I guess Kyrie, because Kyrie was a free agent and that's when he ended up going to Brooklyn. Um KD was a free agent because he wasn't going to resign with the Warriors, right? Kawhi was a free agent. Um was Paul George a free agent at that time? I think Paul George may have been a free agent at that time. So you had four caliber players, star players. And if I'm not mistaken, DeMar DeRozan was technically a free agent as well. And I put him as a star at that point in time. He was a perennial all star. So he had about five. So I would say, well, that's the summer of 2019 was probably the last time. So right before COVID, where you truly had a free agency and you had to figure out where the stars were going, or stars, the superstars were going first, and then figuring out how you're going to build your team, whether you were the team that signed said star slash superstar, or a team that maybe missed out on them, and now you have to pivot. And not to mention, it was always fun that balancing act because some of those teams that were trying to be in the star and superstar sweepstakes had maybe a young rising star on their team who was a restricted free agent, and you had to be careful. You had to try to figure out, okay, like I want this superstar, but I also don't want to lose my guy. But I need to sign this superstar so then I know how much money I can really give to this young guy. Because if I give him a big deal, then I may not have enough to get this superstar. But then if I wait too long for the superstar, this young guy may go get a bigger deal elsewhere, and I may not have time to match it. So I'm just in a awkward situation. Like that was just some of the balancing act that I love. Like especially somebody that loves just front office management and just the game and the chess match that it is. Like that was something that drove me to that world and wanting to be a part of it, right? And like I said, now it's just role players. Like freaking Miles Turner is a big headline in terms of signing the contract. Brooke Lopez was a big headline in terms of signing the contract. Like good players, right? But nothing that gets the fan base, especially the casual fan, just excited. Um, and that's what the NBA is missing. Um, we've lost so much from the regular season. We've lost so much from All Star break. The NBA has lost its ability to promote the postseason as accurately as it could be. I think it's lost the ability to promote the individual players that exceed. I mean, was SGA really promoted as well as he could have been? When you think of he had number one overall, he led the number one overall seed. He was the league MVP, ultimately became the finals MVP. Were there narratives about him um, driving the airwaves, so to speak, in regards to basketball conversation? No, it was still some level of Bron versus Jordan, Lakers. Kobe got included in that a little bit. T Mac, um, just the same old basketball conversations that have dominated really the last decade, but more so in the past 5 years. I think where you really just can't have a normal conversation about other players and other teams in the league, and maybe, when I say, oh, it's a role player's paradise now, maybe it wouldn't feel that way because some of these role players are stars, so to speak, on their respective teams. Maybe if there was more buildup around some of these players that are coming to the Rome, maybe it wouldn't feel that way to someone like me. But um, I just feel like we're losing the NBA is losing its luster, and it has lost its luster a little bit. And it can get it back with the NBA summer and getting it back to focusing not just about free agency, but superstars, unrestricted free agent superstars and free agency. Not, hey, I'm in the last year of my deal, and hey, I'm not going to extend with you. So now we're looking at trade partners. No, 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 no. I want, hey, I fulfilled my contract. I'm opted out of my contract. I'm about to be a free agent. I'm about to go on these visits. Here's the thing. The NBA has a perfect opportunity over the next 2 summers to get this done. I just saw a report Nikola Jokic was eligible for a 3-year extension with the Denver Nuggets. Reportedly, he's turned that down. That is beautiful. Why is it beautiful? Nikola Jokic, in my opinion, is the best player in the world right now. And in 2 years, when his contract is up, because one, why sign a 3-year deal now when you'll make way more 3 years from now when you're an unrestricted free agent um and the revenue is going up and all those things. You'll make more money. So it doesn't make sense. It's not in his best interest really to sign that deal now. It's in the organization's best interest because they'll be. I mean, by the time you get to where that extension kicks in, Nikola Jokic is at a is. I mean, it's a pay cut essentially for what he's really worth at that point in time, especially if he continues the level of play he's been on since he's hit his prime. Um, but like somebody, I was telling somebody, it was like, man, why? A few people, they're like, man, why you don't want Jokic to resign? Like, he gonna get his bag and all those type of things. I was like, man, because I want the NBA summer, especially free agency, to belong to the superstars again. And like I kind of made a joke. I said, look, I want 30 NBA teams because if Nikola Jokic goes on the open market, best believe all 30 teams, including Denver Nuggets, right? But all 30 teams will be trying to get to him. And not to mention if we already have, maybe a couple expansion teams in the next few years. So I said I want all 30 teams at this point. I want to see them at horse races. I want them to spend 2 weeks in Serbia just for the privilege to have a meeting with Nikola Jokic and convince him to leave Denver and to sign with them. Now, I believe Nikola Jokic will retire Denver Nugget. I really do. But the fact that he will have this experience, right? Like we have a bunch of guys who are approaching superstardom that have never experienced free agency. Giannis never experienced it. Trae Young never experienced it. Luka Doncic never experienced it. And Edwards never experienced it. And I feel like every superstar, even Tim Duncan, who is one of the most loyal athletes of all time, experienced free agency in San Antonio. Dirk Nowitzki experienced free agency. Kevin Garnett, even before he went to Boston, experienced free agency. Like Super Kobe experienced it. Like superstars have to have this experience. I think this what makes you a superstar. You should have a moment where you are coddled, where the NBA world is bowing down to you and just wants your full attention, wants your approval, and wants your signature on a contract that says you will leave where you are to sign with them. Like, can y'all imagine the reports? Like, sending Brian Windhorst to Serbia because he has to cover it. And hopefully he can bring his family and everything. Because I get it, report, you don't want people away from their family and stuff. But like sending Stephen A. Smith to Serbia? Or uh, how about let me transfer to Luka, who has an opportunity to sign an extension in I think August. But if he doesn't sign an extension, he has a player option in this upcoming summer, which of course he will decline to become a free agent. Same thing as Trae Young. Like imagine Stephen A. Smith having to go spend a few weeks in Slovenia. Like ESPN sending them out there. Like that would be awesome just to hear the reports coming out of that. Maybe giving us an opportunity to learn more about some of these players' cultures, right? And what they do in their off season, because a lot of times they're doing their own thing, and it's these teams kind of having to squeeze in a little bit on these athletes' downtime to try to get them to sign. Um, and Nikola Jokic hasn't re-signed yet. Luka Doncic is a free agent. I think Denver would make a move for him. I think San Antonio would make a move. I think Miami would make a move. Hell, it won't surprise me if Dallas tries to make a move. Like, think New York. What if they made a move? Tried to pair him and Jalen Brunson back up again together. Like, because we remember Luka got traded to the Lakers. If he had it his way, he's never leaving Dallas. But one of the reasons why he got traded from Dallas. Everybody talked about the defense and all this type of stuff, but there was a growing sentiment in Dallas that Luka was not going to extend his contract. And if he was not going to extend, they had to start thinking about, okay, there may be a life where we don't have Luka and he walks away for nothing. And at least they get an Anthony Davis, they get a first round pick, all that type of stuff. I still don't think it's enough, but they feel like they got something, right? Especially for the window that they're in. But I want it to be the summer of Luka. I want to be the summer of Trae Young, who's also eligible for a contract extension because he's in the same rookie class as Luka was. Don't sign it. For what? Why? You're getting paid guaranteed dollars. Let these organizations show you that the current teams you play for, Lakers, Hawks, show these two players that we're going in on you, building around you, and this is what it can look like. I see the Hawks are kind of doing it. They got Kristaps Porzingis. They still got some of the young guys, Jalen Johnson, Zachary, Ricochet, um, Ungwanku, guys like that. Dyson Daniels coming in. So they had a really good free agency. Got Nikhil Alexander Walker. Um, got Luke Kennard. So really, really good free agency, I think, for the Hawks, where it's a, hey, we got a bunch of our role players around our guy. We're going to kind of go all in. We're going to see um, what we can do in a wide open East. And if and I think that's good, right? I think the organization is, I wouldn't say panicking, but they're trying to get their shit together because they know they could very well lose Trae Young. And I know Trae Young in his mind should be thinking, hell, I wanted to work out. This is the organization, not so that drafted me, but they did. The NBA is weird in how they do that. But um, this is the organization I came in with. We had some high moments, especially the Eastern Conference Finals appearance that they should have won. I was there, but the Gucci Man ref hurt Trae Young because he did not understand spatial awareness. Um, and I think they beat the Bucks in that series. But Trae Young should be looking and saying, "That's great that you guys are doing this, but this is also the first time you've really done this in the 9 years I've been here or whatever it's been. Don't sign yet. Have a moment. See how the season goes. Don't even demand a trade. Just say, hey, I'm opting out, but I'll be willing to do a signing trade if it works out. But I'm opting out and I'm gonna be a free agent. Luka, opt out. Be a free agent. You can almost go back to the Lakers. Like it's not gonna hurt. Like if you go through the different pitches, if the Spurs, if the Knicks, if the Heat, if the Clippers, if the Rockets, whoever you go on a meeting with, if they don't have a better pitch than the Lakers do, that's the reason I'm with the Lakers. Trey, if nobody has a better pitch than the Atlanta Hawks, and you feel like, look, I've heard everybody else, but I do know this organization knows me and they're willing to build around me. Well, then go and do that. And yes, of course, as superstars, you can always ask out after signing a new contract. But at the very least, the fans of the NBA will have experienced once again what occurs or what happens and how it feels when superstars once again command the NBA summer. And so if I'm Nosferatu right now, I'm looking at my teams, I'm talking to the president and the director of the Players Association, and I'm saying, hey, I need y'all to put a bug in these superstars' ears to not sign their extensions. I need you to put a bug in that. Why? Because the summer of Luka and Trae, the summer of Nikola Jokic, the summer of Anthony Edwards, that will do numbers. That will drive eyes. That will drive money to the National Basketball Association. And not only will players get richer from it, the owners will get richer from it. Think about it. That's the one aspect that we are missing from the NBA. Like we're losing a lot of stuff during the season. You can't lose during the season and in the off season. We'll definitely get both back eventually, I think, especially with the parity in the league. But time to get our off seasons back, man. I'm ready for it. I feel like the fans are ready for it. I feel like these superstars deserve the moment and the opportunity. But I'm also a fan of chaos, so take what I say with a grain of salt. But anyways, that's today's show, y'all. If there's anything that I say that offended anyone, which I'm pretty sure with my take I've offended Nuggets fans, Lakers fans, Hawks fans for sure, Magic fans, um, whatever. Anyways, this is I offended, right? It's a good thing. It's an opportunity for me to learn, and it's an opportunity for you to teach me. All I ask is that you keep it respectful. Peace.